Hey, ciao các bạn. Hey everyone. So, if you don't already know, I'm no longer in Vietnam. I'm currently in the US visiting family and friends, and I will be going to Mexico soon. And yeah, it's a weird transition to say the least. So, this video is going to be about me talking about my experience in Vietnam, what I learned, things I would like to do differently in the future when I visit some other countries, and just the experiences that I had while I was over there. And one of my great friends, Chris, is actually the one who's going to be asking me these questions, and we had a lot of adventures together while we were in Vietnam. And so he's going to be asking me these questions, what I thought about Vietnam and what are the things that I would like to do in the future when I come back and visit Vietnam. So here it is, and I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you at the end. Ciao, guys.
We're live! We're live!
Dude,
So why did you originally come to Vietnam? You've been in Vietnam now for a year and like 3-4 months ish. March
yeah,
2020.
yeah. So I arrived in March of last year, so March of 2019. And
2020.
before Vietnam, I was in New Zealand. And New Zealand was more of a kind of a backpacker style of travel. I was living in a van, I was traveling around, I was working a little bit here and there to make some money.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't working towards anything. So
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to start a new career and kind of have some more purpose and meaning to life in general, right? And I wanted to start off in a country where the culture is very different from my own,
Mm-hmm.
and where the cost of living is a little cheaper. And um, Southeast Asia has been a place that I've loved to come to. Before I've been to Malaysia, I've been to Singapore, Laos, Thailand, and so I really, I really liked Southeast Asia. But I was like, you know what? I want to go someplace new this time. I want to discover a new country that I haven't been to yet. And I did a little bit of research, and I looked at Vietnam, and I've heard good things about Vietnam, but I didn't know anything about it really. So I decided, hey, I'm going to go to Vietnam, and then I'm going to try to start my career going there. Um, and obviously, things have evolved since I've been in Vietnam, but I arrived in
Right.
Vietnam, and my plan was to stay here a little longer, um, at least for like a year or so, and that's exactly what happened. But also because of COVID, I was
Yeah.
kind of it was just perfect timing essentially.
Mm-hmm. Down
um,
here, lockdown. Vietnam ended up being like really chill with COVID in terms of like they can have controlled it super well, right?
oh yeah, yeah, we've been unbelievably lucky
Mm-hmm.
being here. So absolutely, like I've got a ton of respect uh, for Vietnam for controlling it the way they have, and unbelievably grateful to have been here during that. Right. So um, yeah, it's been really good. Um, yeah, that was the original reason of coming to Vietnam is one to explore a new culture and to start kind of this new career, and to have more resources and time to work on it. So yeah, that
That's
was
great.
that was
So would you say like I feel like the one big thing I mean obviously like we've only known each other a year, right? But like just from like
yeah.
having and we haven't even hung out that much over like I mean we've hung out a good amount, but like it's been like random
Yeah,
small little quick trips, right? Right.
yeah, exactly.
Right. Just because of we don't live in the same city, obviously. So I mean, we bonded over language, right? Over like outdoors, right? If people saw
Yeah,
the hiking video,
yeah,
so many
exactly.
freaking like the riding the motorbikes, right, across country,
Yeah,
like
yeah, dude.
so many things we've bonded over, right? Video now, but
Yeah,
I feel like one big thing for you here is like it's kind of been like obviously it's been like right you haven't really had a job here, you haven't taught English here, not like the most normal expats that come here,
no, no, I haven't. No,
right? So you've
no.
been trying to do like your own kind of thing. over the past year?
Yeah, and so I am a personal trainer, and that was the thing I was working on, and I was wanting to make it more remote. Um, but the industry is very saturated, right? And and I just was becoming demotivated, and I wasn't really interested in the whole online side of things. So it's something I've realized that I can still do on the side, but it's not going to be my bread and butter. It's not
Mm-hmm.
going to be um, a full-time thing, right?
Right.
But I spent the last year trying to work on it, right? I started YouTube because I wanted to push fitness content, and realized that it felt kind of forced when I was doing it, and um, it felt so much better when I was doing more travel content and things with language and
Yeah.
getting to know culture. And so I've just started to delve into that, and then I just realized that the whole fitness sphere, as much as I enjoy it, um, it's just not something that I really want to pursue um, long term, right?
Makes
And
sense.
and financially, it's not as easy to make money, right?
So with that said, regardless of kind of what you've done, right? I feel like
Yeah,
Vietnam was kind of, correct me if I'm wrong, was Vietnam one of the first places where you really like, I mean, it's sort of like a startup, right? Where you were like building your own business essentially, right? You were working for yourself. I feel like that's for me, like Vietnam's the first kind of place where I came where I was like, I feel like, oh damn, like I can actually work for myself here. There's so much opportunity in terms of economy, right? It's a new market.
yeah.
Is that true? Am I getting
No, absolutely, absolutely. So when I've traveled in the past, it was mainly me just traveling, right? And then when I would work, it wasn't working to increase my skills to like, I wasn't working on a project. It was literally just work to make some money
right?
and to have the opportunity to travel more.
Yeah.
But that just wasn't enough for me anymore. And so that's the reason like Vietnam was essentially a way for me to work on myself and on my own business. Um, and so having that opportunity to do that here has just been invaluable.
Mm-hmm.
And even though it's not something I want to pursue in the future, uh, it gave me so much more insight into business and to being self disciplined and motivated. And it's, yeah, so Vietnam essentially made that happen. Because if I was in the U.S. and tried to do this, just the cost of living, it would have it would have been impossible to focus on that, and I would have had to focus on a full time job and that on the
Yeah.
side.
Which obviously
So,
makes it
um,
infinitely harder because you don't have the time, right?
um, yeah, yeah. So it definitely gave me the opportunity to focus my time and energy on that venture, right?
Right.
And so, um, yeah, this was like an unbelievably great experience, and I absolutely loved my time here in Vietnam, and I'm absolutely going to be back. So,
Glad to hear you have to come visit Hanoi still. Hanoi.
dude, I have a bay, like just
Dude,
the
oh my
entire
God.
north. I just have to
What's the
do
most
right.
northern part of
Um,
Vietnam you've been to? Get ready for this.
Hue,
Hue?
yeah,
No,
dude.
no.
Northern Vietnam and Hue. Like no, Hue is the most north I've been.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I did Dalag, I did Nha Trang,
Like,
Win Hue, Da Nang. I don't know if I said Da Nang already. Phu Quoc, Saigon. Um, so I did a decent amount of the south and central parts, um, but there's so much more to explore, and yeah, I'll definitely be coming back to explore the rest of it.
so your home base throughout most of your time here was Da Nang, right?
Da
Da Nang.
Nang,
Da Nang.
yeah,
What made you
Da
choose
Nang.
Da Nang?
Yeah, that's kind of interesting actually. Like I originally arrived in Saigon, and shortly afterwards we had our first
Yeah.
lockdown, right? And um, Saigon or Ho Chi Minh City is a big
Mm-hmm.
city, and I'm more of an outdoorsy kind of nature person, and I had some friends talk to me about Da Nang, yeah, and they told me like, oh, there's the beach and there's mountains close by and there's this and that, and I was like, that sounds really nice. Like, I'll just go there for 5 weeks because originally I was thinking, oh, I'll come back to Saigon and I'll find some
Right.
work, and then I went to Da Nang, and I was so like, I literally within a week of getting there, I was like, I'm staying
Yeah.
here, because it was amazing. I mean, it's a big city, still a big city, and you've got the beach right there. The mountains are very close by. You've got San Tra, you've got Marble Mountain, Hoi An is really close, Hue, and so and just nature is really what I wanted, right? Quick access to nature, and it was perfect. And I absolutely fell in love with it, and met many people there. Started to create like this community there, and I just yeah.
Do you feel like you really it's gonna sound a little weird, like no, I mean, because we've talked
Yeah.
about this a lot before already, but do you feel like you really experienced like Vietnamese culture during your time here in terms of like,
Um,
getting engaged with the locals and stuff like that? Like what's your, can you just chat a little bit about
half
that?
half. So not completely, and it is something I regret slightly, is not being able to really experience local culture to the extent I wanted to. So I have learned like a
Mhm.
basic Vietnamese, to be able to order things and kind of greetings and stuff. Um, but I never got to the point where I can have basic conversations with people. And
Yeah.
um, in Vietnam, there's quite a divide between the expat community or foreign community with the local Vietnamese community. There's quite a strict divide, um, and there's I think there's a lot of reasons for that, but it made it kind of difficult to 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 really get in,
To get involved, right?
yeah, to really get involved with the culture. And the one thing is that I came to Vietnam to start this career in fitness, and I was spending time at a co-working space, which was all essentially foreigners, expats, and then I started getting clients, and those were all expats. So my life was just
Hmm.
constantly being surrounded by expats, and because there's not a big mix, um, it
Yeah.
was hard for me to really get involved in the Vietnamese community, and I really wish I could have done more of that. And so in the future, like, I would like to come back to Vietnam once I've got career where I'm not worrying about a career, right, and I can just focus on integrating myself into Vietnamese community and actually learn more about Vietnamese culture. So, um, obviously, have learned a lot since I've been here, but not to the extent that I would have liked.
Yeah, it makes sense. No, I mean, it's definitely. I think one is like language, right? Like I feel like I've
Yeah,
right. Vietnam's kind of become a home for me. Like this is the place I've stayed the
yeah,
longest outside of America now, right? My whole life is kind of here. Like I have a driver's license here, which is like, I don't know. I feel like I've done so much here, right? That's kind of rooted me in here.
yeah.
But language has been like the biggest thing, right? That's like, if I didn't speak language, like, I mean, you meet the occasional friend, right, that'll speak English, and like, I mean, people are super friendly here, right? It's not like they're not
No,
friendly, but
absolutely.
you don't go past like, you don't go past that divide that you were talking about so much.
Yeah, and that is the
And
thing. Like, people in Vietnam are unbelievably friendly, but that's the thing. If you can't communicate, it doesn't matter what language or culture or wherever you are. Like, that is the way you interact and get to know the culture of a country, is learning that language. Um,
exactly.
and so it's unless you go to a country like the Netherlands or something where everybody speaks English.
Everyone speaks English.
but um, but even then, there is a just a certain point where you can't go any further until you learn the language. Once you do, people open up, and it's a lot easier to communicate.
No, so like, what was like the defining time when you were like, okay, like, I mean, I think you were always kind of ready to go back and see family and stuff, right? What was the like? Because now, like, you're kind of like, Vietnam's not your home base, right? Not like me, where like I feel like Vietnam is my home, and like I'll still leave to go travel places, but I'm gonna always come back here. What made you kind of realize,
Yeah.
for now, at least right now, it's not your home base?
Um. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I mean, a big part of it is that I haven't connected completely to the culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't learned the language, and so there's this divide, right? And so yeah, I think that's one of the largest parts, and um, just being more in the Western community here, um, I hear they're essentially like there are things about Vietnam that Westerners are not like
Don't like and
the
yeah,
happiest about,
yeah,
particularly noise. Because here in Vietnam, like people just don't hear it, right? It just doesn't bother people.
yeah.
Um, but for a lot of Westerners, noise is like the noise levels here are just insane. I mean, I had an ear infection, not because of noise, but just because I jumped off of a waterfall and got water stuck in my ear for like 2 days.
The intense noise
But
in Saigon gave me an ear infection.
no, could you imagine? No, no. But I was getting over the ear infection. I was crossing the street, and a bus was passing by, and it honked its horn at me. And the horn was so loud, and it just like, oh, my ear was hurting for like 2 hours after that. And it's just there's a lot more noise, The karaoke is really loud,
Yeah.
but it just doesn't. People have grown up to that here, right?
Right, you get used to it.
And
Even me having been here 3 years, dude. Like, I was just filming a video the other day, and they were like, right, they were like doing some metal work, and it was like, zzz, and like I didn't even notice it. And then I got back, and people were like, "Why is the noise so loud?" I'm like, "Oh shit, I didn't even notice."
yeah, because of new construction. But that's the thing. It's like because I didn't really integrate with the community, the Vietnamese community, as much here.
You heard something
There's
and like,
there's a disconnect,
yeah,
and Vietnam just didn't feel like a home to me because of that.
yeah,
If I would have learned the language and had more Vietnamese friends, and been more involved with the culture, it would have felt like home. And that's what happened when I was in Germany. And if I was in a bigger city in Germany and just hanging out with a bunch of foreigners, um, which would have been fine, but I wouldn't have felt like Germany is like my home, right? And now I feel like I'm part, like German culture, like I'm really connected to it, and I'm proud to say that I speak German, and Germany is like a home away from home for me. Um, that's the thing. It's just that I didn't have that connection here in Vietnam, and I would definitely like to come back and be able to experience that some more at some point. But yeah, that's kind of one of the reasons why it just doesn't feel like home is just that I never really learned the language.
yeah. So maybe in the future, come back. You can sleep on my couch.
You never know. I could never say never, right?
Dude, you come
But
you sleep on my couch this time.
dude, for real, yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. No, but I'm definitely going to be coming back to Vietnam, but probably not for the foreseeable future, just because of the current situation that's going on.
Right.
And I'll be on the other side of the planet, and I'll probably just be spending more time in Latin America and in Europe, around that area as well.
What was your most memorable experience here in Vietnam, and the thing that you won't forget or you'll miss when you leave Vietnam? This is a tough question. Take your time.
Dude, truthfully, like our trip,
Which one?
like
The one
our trip for New Year's.
Ah, yeah.
That trip was like, that was unbelievably memorable. Like I loved hiring a bike, renting a bike, a motorbike, Yeah, exactly. Dude, that was so much fun being able to drive all the way to Nha Trang, meeting you in Nha Trang, and then driving up to Dalat,
Yeah.
and then spending like that was my first time in Dalat, and it was just beautiful. I was like, wow, like it's walkable, it's like, and it's up in the mountains, and you have these pine trees, and we went on a hike, and then it was really cold at night, and I missed the cold. I was like, oh, this is so nice, and then we're wearing like kind of having to wear gloves and stuff, and it felt nice. Like I kind of missed that,
Yeah.
and it was just a bunch of new experiences, and so um, yeah, it was really good, and going to these cafes and stuff, and um, just the lake there, and all of it. It was just, and that was a great experience, and then driving back down to Da Nang, the pass and stuff. So it's
A lot of fun.
that was really memorable to me. Like probably that and
Oh, dancing.
when I traveled, yeah, when I traveled to Hawaii with Alex,
Okay.
and um, kind of walking by. Hawaii is beautiful.
Yeah.
It's really clean, um, and the riverfront, the Perfume River, with all the
Oh, is it called the
sculptures and
Perfume
stuff.
River? I never did that.
Yeah, in English it's called the Perfume River.
Oh, so
Um,
we have Sword Lake and the Perfume River. Interesting.
yeah, dude. And so that
I know
was
that.
that was amazing to me. Those two trips just really stuck with me, and I have very good memories of those trips.
So okay, well, let's shift gears a little bit. You're a mixed American French baby child, right?
That's
That's
that's me.
you. But having this French background, I think Vietnam. I mean, for me, Vietnam, and you're American as well, so I'm sure it's even more interesting. For me, Vietnam has been very
Yeah,
interesting just due to the Vietnam American War, right? But like the
yeah.
French had a big influence on Vietnam too. Like, how has it been being here with that kind of background? Have you noticed a lot of it? Have you I don't know, like have you what do you have you noticed
Definitely,
anything?
definitely. Like sometimes it's more noticeable than others. But for example, I've spoken French to several Vietnamese who speak very good French.
Yeah.
Um, Remember, I went to get some petrol or some gas at a petrol station. And one of the guys there was just randomly. He didn't know I was French. He was like, "Est-ce que vous parlez français?" And I was like, "Bah oui." Do you speak French? And I was like, "Yeah." And then we just started speaking French together. um, and so that was funny. And then here in Saigon, there's remnants of uh, France's colonial past here in Vietnam. I mean, the People's Committee of Ho Chi Minh, which when it was built, it was the City Hall of Saigon that was built by the French.
Yeah.
The Opera House, Palais de Justice, just one of the oldest bridges in Saigon. I forget the name of the bridge, but it was built by the company who made essentially built the Eiffel Tower,
Oh really?
Gustave Eiffel, and you can see like the way that it was built, with the bolts and everything. It looks exactly like typical French steelwork, right,
Yeah.
from that era. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of things that have translated. And banh mi, for example, banh mi literally comes from French, like with the pâté. Um, Before it was more of kind
The
of like
word banh mi comes
old.
from French?
No, well, no, just the food itself.
Oh, with the baguette, yeah.
Yeah, with the baguette, little mini baguette, and the pâté and all that. And it used to be more fancy, and then it became something that became more had more Vietnamese infusion like
Right.
within it, right? But originally, it's from France, and so it's really cool to see these remnants of French culture
Yeah.
that has infused into Vietnamese culture.
Now, a lot of the architecture, like you were saying too, right? Like bridges, even in Hanoi here, I'm
Oh,
pretty sure Long Bien Bridge. Long Bien, is that a French word? It sounds very French. I don't know. Long Bien.
Long Bien?
I don't know. Like Bien.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to
I
see.
don't know. Long Bien, but Long Bien Bridge is like one of the main bridges that was built by the French to connect like Hanoi to Haiphong, essentially the road. And then like the train stations here, like I'm pretty sure that I don't know about the Hanoi train station, but like the Haiphong train station, so much architecture, right? You see all the yellow buildings. That's very much like French colonial architecture, right?
Yeah.
With like the blue windows.
Yes, there's definitely a lot of that here in Saigon.
All over Vietnam, I think.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's one of the reasons. Like, I kind of wish I would have stayed a little longer because I was wanting to do a lot of videos on that. And so, yeah, I kind of never got to do that, unfortunately. But I'll be back. I'll be back to do that.
Last thoughts, feelings about leaving Vietnam? Are you scared? Are you excited? Are you like sad?
It's a little bit of a mixture of feelings, right? I mean, Vietnam has been my home for over a year now, and it's going to be very odd leaving. I'm definitely going to have a little bit of reverse culture shock going back to the US. Yeah, but it's also exciting because I'm starting kind of a new. I'm transitioning to like a new career, and I'm going to be moving to Mexico, and there are new things that are happening within my life, some new changes, and that's also exciting. And there's been a lot of kind of uncertainty here in Vietnam, just with the recent COVID wave, and then also just with visas and stuff. Yeah. So it's just kind of been anxiety provoking and stressful, and just not knowing whether I will get kicked out, 1 month to the next. So I think it was time for me to leave because of that, right? And so I think all of these things kind of happen for a reason.
That's the quintessential bullshit phrase we tell ourselves when.
Oh yeah, it happened for a reason, like. It's just a way of essentially making ourselves comfortable with our decisions, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Funny, yeah.
But I am excited with where I'm going next, and I'll be seeing family in the U.S. and getting vaccinated. And
you haven't been back to the U.S. for how long?
2.5 years.
Damn, you haven't been in the U.S. for 2.5 years. Damn.
Yeah.
That's gonna be. I'm excited. I'm excited to see your video of you going back and getting like reverse culture shock, dude. Because like,
it's gonna be really interesting. But I mean, the first week is just gonna be me in quarantine, so there's not gonna be much.
Just like in your home, right? Like home quarantine.
Yeah, I'll just be at home, right? At my dad's house. But that's about it. But afterwards, I'm definitely gonna be coming out with a lot of videos about American culture and stuff, so I'm really excited about doing that. So what'd you say?
You're gonna be ordering some Grab food?
Grab food? Oh, grab sheep? No, man, definitely not.
No Grab food?
Definitely not. No free sheep.
No free sheep?
Dude, no, man. It's gonna be Uber. It's gonna be very expensive sheep.
Uber expensive.
Yeah, why that?
Huh?
Why that?
What?
Right, expensive?
Yeah.
Why that? Oh man.
Well, any last thoughts? Any last things you want to say to Vietnam before you leave the country that gave you everything? He left when the country needed him most.
Oh God. Toi Yeu Vietnam. But no, I'm definitely, as I said before, Toi Yeu Vietnam. I really loved Vietnam. Yeah. It was an amazing experience, and I'm absolutely going to be coming back.
Awesome.
In the future. So that's definitely no surprise there. I'll definitely be back. This has been one of my most transformative experiences here, so I'm definitely coming back.
Awesome. And when you come back, it's gonna focus. There's a bed waiting for you.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. All right, Nick. See you
Dude.
next time.
Chris, I'll see you next time, man.
See ya.
Peace.
And have a safe trip.
So there you guys have it. Just Chris and I just being fools like we usually are and talking about essentially my experience in Vietnam and the experiences we had together while I was there. With all that being said, I'm very excited with what's coming up next. I'm in the US, I'll be visiting a lot of family and friends, so it'll be hard for me to come out with videos as often as I would like because I'll be very busy seeing people. But I'd like to create some videos while I'm here in the US. But soon I'll be going to Mexico, and there I'll be speaking Spanish and essentially creating new videos for all of you. So I really look forward to that. Thanks for watching this video. Just a little recap of my time in Vietnam. It was absolutely amazing. Toi Yeu Vietnam. And I can't wait to go and visit once again someday in the future. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in the next video. So, ciao, ciao.